So, good morning and good evening, Mr. X's class. So our word today is implicate. So implicate can be confused with imply. Imply is the word for tomorrow. They both, in Spanish, say implicar, but they're not the same in English. So they're not the same. So implicate it's a verb. It means to show or suggest that somebody, a person, is involved in something bad or criminal, always. So the word imply is much more general, and we'll see that tomorrow. Imply just means like suggest. So it could be anything in the world, good or bad, about anybody, about anything. This is very, 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 if you say implicate, it's very, very specific. And I think this is something that doesn't exist in Spanish, because it's translated, they're both translated implicar. But this is a very, very specific thing. It's something bad or criminal. Only something bad or criminal, usually a crime. Usually a crime. So, and maybe, I think we should add this to the Spanish translation. En un crimen, o algo mal. Because, un crimen, right? No una crimen, un crimen. Is that right? Okay. So, yeah, it's more specific than imply. It always relates to a crime or something bad. So, so how do you make a sentence with it? So, here's an example. The recording. Imagine that there's a senator someone recorded the senator taking a bribe, tomando una mordida, money from somebody. Okay, so then we could say the recording, if there's a recording of that, okay, the recording implicated the senator in corruption. Corruption is something bad. So basically, if you write a sentence, a good way to do it is if you do it in this order. So you could say, first say the evidence. Number one, so I put numbers here. Number one, evidence. Number two, the word implicate. Number three is the person. Number four is the word in. And number five is the crime. And I feel like that's the most common pattern with this word. This follows the same word. Same pattern. So I have a sentence about Macbeth in the Shakespeare play. So Macbeth had to wash the bloody dagger. The dagger is the knife. Anybody remember reading Macbeth? And then later, he keeps seeing it in front of him, and then Lady Macbeth wants to wash her hands because she thinks they're bloody because she goes crazy. And so there's lots of stuff with the blood and the bloody dagger. So the blood in that play really shows guilt, I think. It's like a symbol of guilt. So he had to wash the bloody knife, trying to get rid of the guilt, although he couldn't, right? Really, but he had to wash it. Why? Because it could have implicated him. So it's following the same pattern. The knife is the evidence. Change the verb tense a little bit, or I'm putting a modal, and I'm saying could have, but knife could have implicated him, person, in, and there's the crime, the murder of King Duncan. So, and yet it's usually for evidence, or it could be physical evidence. It could also be something like a statement by a witness. That would count too. Un testigo, like you could say the witness's statements implicated him in the robbery. That works too. Doesn't have, it can be physical objects. It can also be evidence in the form of something somebody said. You can make a sentence like that too. But it's usually, yes, evidence, and the evidence shows that the person is involved in a crime or something bad. And so something bad, it doesn't have to be a crime necessarily where you go to jail. It could be something like a student is cheating during a test. You can say the cheat sheet, and the teacher found the cheat sheet. The cheat sheet implicated the student in cheating. And that would work too. Even though it's not a crime that you go to jail for, it's something bad that's against the rules. So it would work also. Word family implication, which is also, that's also a word family for imply. In this case though, implication is like the process of implicating somebody. So it's, we could say, this evidence, we need to make sure that the evidence, we need to prevent implication. Like you could say something like, Macbeth wanted to prevent implication because of the dagger. Or prevent being implicated. Well, that's the passive voice of that. But yeah, you could say, like, prevent implication or something as a noun for the process of implicating. So this might mean implicate or it might mean imply, this one. So you can tell, I think, from the context which one it is. If it's talking about a crime, then it's implicate. And imply is usually something else. Some synonyms for this: accuse, blame, or charge are related to implicate. Although they're a little different because these are usually things that people do. Like a knife cannot accuse somebody. A knife can't talk. Accuse is to say you did it. And blame is also to say you did it. And charge is like in court when a judge officially says you did it. So they're related, but that's one difference is implicate is usually not. It can be a person's statement, but it can also be like a physical object. And these have to be a person talking, saying I think you did it. So that's different. But they're close to being the same. No antonyms. So questions about this? So yeah, be careful that don't use it in other ways. Use it only for crimes or something bad. That's what it's for. Implicate. All right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for filming today.